Greetings YouTube! In case you haven't kept up with my last two videos, I'm having camera issues. It's the audio. The camera's behaving like the audio's constantly maxed out. This is just a temporary workaround using my old snowball microphone that I had stashed somewhere. Anyhow, quite a number of years back now, a friend of mine, as we occasionally did with each other, invited me to the cinema, and the only thing he told me about this film was that it was a Steven Spielberg film. So after we'd been watching this film for about 20 minutes, after the guy in the garage had been eaten by a giant red tentacle monster, it occurred to me that he didn't mean Steven Spielberg, he meant Stephen King. Oh boy. Hey, look, the film was called something like The Mist or The Fog, The Pea Super, something like that. Anyway, it wasn't my first Stephen King film. I'd gone to see Dreamcatcher as well, and that was just a really weird fucking film, was that. But my point is that I'm not really a horror fan, be it films or games, despite the fact that I've done Resident Evil. But this is Carrion, and it's a reverse horror game where you play as the monster. And as someone who isn't really into me horror things, it's pretty fucking good. At first, when you're playing, it's awkward, really awkward. Movement, the creature doesn't move normally. It has free freedom of movement. Try saying that 5 times fast, but it needs to attach its tendrils to the walls in order to move around, so it's always being magnetically attracted to the walls. It's weird. It's awkward. And grabbing hold of vents. Oh my god, that is really fucking awkward. Trying to get the little white marker to land right on the vent so you can grab it and pull it off. It's really awkward. That's the perfect word to describe it. Until about 15 minutes in, where you kind of relax and realise that actually the game is very forgiving and you don't really need to control everything. The creature doesn't crawl, it doesn't even slither, it flows through the levels. It flows down corridors, through doorways, and its movement is awesome. Once you get over the initial thing of it doesn't exactly go where you want it to, it somehow always ends up where you're aiming to get. It's weird. You're not completely in control, yet it always manages to do exactly what you want. Grabbing vents, you don't even have to be vaguely accurate. You just aim roughly in its direction, grab, pull, it's off. So once you realise that, once you relax a little bit, it gets a lot more playable. There are many humans to eat and upgrades to gather. Although it took me a while to work out that certain upgrades are only available if the creature is a certain size. Because the creature has like a teeny tiny size that doesn't do anything, and then it has small, medium and large. But different powers are only available at certain sizes, and I didn't work this out at first. I hit medium size, and I'd gotten the slam attack power. And it was only when I wanted to hit a switch that was out of reach with the webbing that I realised that the webbing wasn't there anymore. It had been overwritten by the slam power. Except it hadn't, because I was now the wrong size. The webbing power only works when it's small, and I was medium, so I had the slam power. Different powers require you to be a certain size. So it's knowing when you can upgrade by absorbing mass, or downgrade by ditching it in one of those yellowy slimy pools. You have to maintain the correct size to bypass the puzzle so you can use all your abilities correctly. It doesn't help though that the game has no map, which is something it really, I think, needs. Even individual areas are like a maze. It can be bad. At one point I was wandering around in circles, flowing round in circles should I say, for about 20 minutes, not knowing where to go. Just pointlessly. This game really needs a map. Really does. There are these cubby holes that you can convert into layers. They're basically checkpoints, and they are vital for opening the way forward. You have to hit all these cubby holes, convert them to layers, and do it with all of them in the area. It opens the door to the next area. And you can do this like roar, which is like a sonic echo, and it echoes back and shows you roughly where the next cubby hole is. But it doesn't show you how to get there. So you can easily get lost in this game. There are, as I say, various humans scattered all around the facility, and a fair few of them are scientists, hazmat, they don't even try to defend themselves. Security will shoot you, but they're pretty easy to deal with. Soldiers, though, have assault rifles and shields. And frontal attack will fail against these guys every single time, because they are really quick to put that shield up, and that shield is impervious to most of the tricks you try, if not all of them. You have to sneak up behind them, basically, and grab them when they're not looking, which is really difficult. There's lots of vent shafts, there's plenty of opportunities to sneak up on them. It's the actual execution that's tricky. There are various types. There's like small and large drones. You just grab and rag them around to smash them, or web the small ones to the wall. That's a pretty neat trick. In addition, there are these detection lasers all over the facility, and you wander through them, they immediately go off and slam shut the door, so you can't get through. And the small creature has a cloaking power, so he can sneak past without setting them off. There are also these giant mechs with fuck-off guns, which you really don't want to get in front of. You have to kind of sneak up on them and also circle round them to try to stay out of their line of fire, wrench the top of the mech off and grab the person inside. As if you can't guess by now, this game is pretty violent. And you also have a possession power, which also works on dead people as well as live people, which is incidentally the reason that you can't eat the soldiers. You can eat the scientists and hazmat guys, you can eat the low-level security guys, but the soldiers with the guns, with the rifles and the shields, you can't eat them. All you can do is grab them and rag them around, and you're wondering, why isn't the monster eating them? It's because you need them for some of the puzzles. Because they're the only way to get past certain things, you have to possess them. So that is another thing that confused me at first, that you don't figure out until much later. Incidentally, if you do take possession of someone, you can walk them into one of the mechs with fuck-off guns and start using it, which is pretty damn sweet. There's a lot of awesomeness in this game, and as I say, not a horror fan. This game is about 3 or 4 hours long, so it's not the longest. But damn, it's good. It started off on PC, I am so glad it came to console.